at CrowdStrike, very much one of my early allies internally was our finance team, right? Because they were leaning in, oh, wow, this transaction mechanism is really fast and it's reducing our daily sales outstanding. And so we initially leveraged our relationships with the finance team to really communicate the value to senior leadership. Hey, we're doing business more cost effectively.
CrowdStrike was really an on-prem product, and so you really didn't have the sort of idea or concept with AWS in that way. What were those early days like, making the transition, getting everybody bought into this thing?
It was a big lift.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Inside Partnering, and we are here at, it's day, what is it, Thursday, day whatever it is. It's exhausting, right?
I've lost count. I've lost count for sure.
We're here at reInvent, and man, what a week. It's been fantastic.
Awesome, yeah. So many exciting announcements and amazing events and fun networking opportunities. It's been a great show. Yeah.
And I heard last year was 65,000. Because going into it, it was like 60 or 65. Last night I heard 88,000.
That's a lot of people. Yeah, but it doesn't feel that way this year for some reason.
Yeah,
I think
pretty manageable.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So anyway, just really excited to be joined by Jessica Alexander, and Jessica is CEO and founder of Skematic, and very excited. So you just launched in August?
We founded the company in June, started writing the product in August, and we launched our MVP here at reInvent.
It's fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah.
It's a fun experience this is my 9th reInvent, but my first reInvent as a startup built on AWS and navigating the partner opportunities here, and it's just been a really exciting experience to be here at reInvent.
Yeah. So that's very exciting. I also, just by way of introduction, 10 years at CrowdStrike,
almost
9 years at CrowdStrike, and Jessica, for anyone that doesn't know Jessica, was instrumental in really creating the whole AWS program for CrowdStrike, which was a huge transition for CrowdStrike at the time.
It was, yes.
But, oh my gosh, like $2 billion in marketplace transactions later. What a success story.
Yeah, I started in, 2016. And CrowdStrike was established, but still creating a new category of endpoint detection and response, a lot of players in the market. And we saw AWS as an opportunity to differentiate ourselves. We were a great AWS customer. We really wanted to get Amazon as a customer. And so the strategy was, let's really lean into the opportunity to partner with AWS as a scaling ISV, and then really work on the 360 relationship and manage it that way. So my team managed the buy from, sell through, sell with. And I worked very closely with our internal engineering team that owned the EDP and the AWS spend. It really was a team sport. Buy-in from the tippy top. George Kurtz was bought in from day one, and really having the CMO, the COO, CFO, everybody very much aligned around the mission, because it's a very important relationship that you want to do it the right way.
Yeah, and in the early days, it was quite a transition, right? Because CrowdStrike was really an on-prem product, and so you really didn't have the sort of idea or concept with AWS in that way. What were those early days like, making the transition, getting everybody bought into this thing?
It was a big lift because obviously we were a SaaS that was built on AWS, right? But our product was deployed on on-prem endpoints. And so our buying persona was very different than the traditional AWS customer, which is a CIO, a COO, right? Someone responsible for digital transformation. And so we initially launched our marketplace listing and built it and thought, there's going to be a whole bunch of people that are going to show up to buy our product. And
just put up a listing. It just happens. It's magic.
Yeah, and nobody showed up. So we realized we had some work to do. Yeah. And so it was probably a 5-year journey to really develop that flywheel internally of how do we do private offers, how do we scale marketplace transactions. It also required navigating our customers to figure out who owned the EDP. That was not a natural muscle we had internally. The EDP was in a different organization than our buyer, and our teams internally navigated that conversation of not only with AWS sellers, like why would I sell CrowdStrike, but also with our customers and prospects to say, oh, I didn't know I could use my AWS bill to buy CrowdStrike. This is great. So it was very early days. We did a lot of evangelizing. So I ran a team of global specialists that evangelized AWS. They knew how to speak AWS. They had their professional certifications. And so and I'll take a little credit, I think we wrote one of the first playbooks on how do you go to market with AWS and how do you manage a relationship with Amazon from a holistic perspective where everybody is winning the game together.
And that's interesting because as you say, it's a team sport, and it's something where, and our audience is a lot of partner leaders, right? Yeah. Partner professionals, partner leaders. And that's one of the challenges, I think, a lot of times is you can't go it alone, and this is something that you need to get out into the whole organization. You have to have the sales team and product and everybody speaking the same language and getting excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And initially, I think we think of partnerships and we think who we're partnering with externally. But I really look at the key to success is how you partner internally, right? How are you partnering with product, finance, sales, marketing? And a lot of times the AWS relationship falls into the alliance organization, but they don't necessarily have the influence to change a product roadmap, deliver technical integrations, tweak the roadmap, or deliver new marketing messaging. So what we're trying to do with Skematic is really very much earlier on in a ISV's journey is bring that executive team together to say, is this something you should do? Are you ready to do it? Right? Are you aligned to do it? Do you have an AWS customer? Is there an AWS seller segment that you should approach? And then what is that story? What is your better together story? What is your message that you want will connect with an AWS customer? Because I think ultimately AWS has all these amazing resources and programs and funding that are available, but they obviously don't know a software company's business as well as the software company does. So there's this shared responsibility of the software company being like, okay, I know where my customer is, I know what the messaging needs to be, so I'm going to deploy it into these AWS programs. But that's super complex. So we're hoping to simplify that with Skematic and really help ISVs navigate that process a lot faster, a lot earlier, with less resources.
It's not simple, it's non-trivial, but it's also that the messaging that you're delivering internally to AWS is similar to what you're saying to customers, but it's different.
It's different, yeah. I call it the AWS wrapper. Yeah. And so we work really hard on figuring out what does that wrapper look like. Yeah. Because if the wrapper isn't right, then you're not going to sell any products. And it requires internal collaboration. You have to have agreement from product and marketing. Even marketplace, really, at CrowdStrike, very much one of my early allies internally was our finance team, right? Because they were leaning in, oh, wow, this transaction mechanism is really fast, and it's reducing our daily sales outstanding. And so we initially leveraged our relationships with the finance team to really communicate the value to senior leadership. Hey, we're doing business more cost effectively. Yeah.
I love that. It's so interesting because I was talking to John Brule from Flowcast, who has partnerships at Flowcast, and he said, I have trained our sales team to connect with the procurement team because as soon as the procurement team finds out that you're transactable on AWS Marketplace, they're like, oh yeah, let's do it. It's really interesting that finance can really be your ally.
Yes, and there's lots of allies in the organization. It's really about figuring out how you can help them. And that's one challenge area I see in the way partnerships are structured today, especially internally at companies. A lot of times the alliance organization is measured on originated deals, source deals, influence deals, right? So the foundational pieces of the partnership usually go unacknowledged, uncompensated. And so alliance folks are usually put in this position where they're doing a lot of work and creating work for other people in the organization that goes unrecognized and unmeasured. So another thing we're doing with Skematic is pulling in how do we create metrics and performance goals for the team, right? So that you can build in not only work, but also reward for product and marketing and surface the level of work that's being done across the organization to deliver the partnership.
Yeah, you're touching on it already. I'm really excited to talk about Skematic. It's in my mind, it's like you're taking that 9 years of experience and success with CrowdStrike, and everyone looks at CrowdStrike, oh, okay, I just want to be a CrowdStrike. You're taking all that experience and then encapsulating it, and you've built a product that's AI-based to help ISVs do that.
Yeah, we're built on Bedrock using Claude Sonnet initially.
Of course.
Of course. And yeah, I would say that I took the 9 years of learnings. It looks like success on the outside, right? There was a lot of learnings on the inside. And I think most importantly, I have a passion for startup companies. And during my years at CrowdStrike, I would advise startups on how to be the next CrowdStrike, right? That's difficult to do. And set expectations realistically, that initially there's a lift. Maybe your initial goal is to access credits to offset your bill, to build your product. Maybe it's initially MDF to do some marketing campaigns. So really understanding what your goals are from a revenue acceleration standpoint, and then using the right programs, the right AWS programs to do that.
So interesting. The product is software, but it's also services. Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, initially we're launching the product with 3 months of coaching, just to make sure that we get the partnership pathways right, and that we have agreement from the executive team that this is what we're going to do, this is the timeline, and keep them on track. The goal is to not have to have a coach, and to really have the platform be prescriptive and personalized.
Self-serve.
Yeah, contextually aware of where the ISV is, where their AWS customer is, and then how to market to that AWS customer, and obviously how to create this idea of a team sport across the organization, and be an enablement and an education tool as well. So there's two components to the AI. There's one that generates the pathways and the content, and the analysis, and then there's a chatting feature where you can talk to Skematic and ask them questions.
Ask questions.
Yeah, and say, if based on where I am with my partnership, what should I be doing next year? And it will come back with a list of goals and suggestions, and then put those into pathways.
I love that. It's so cool, because I think when I think of that, it's like the work that Jen Dawson used to do when she was with AWS, and she would run these workshops, and that's exactly what they were doing. It was a full-day workshop, and hey, build your better together story. Who are your influencers? What executives? All of this.
Yeah, and we want to make it programmatic and accessible to more people. Jen's one person, I'm one person. So the idea is, how do we scale this across thousands of software companies so that they have the same level of proficiency, access to AWS programs, and so we begin to utilize the opportunities that AWS can offer us.
Yeah, that's terrific. Maybe not a fair question because you only launched in August, but how's it going?
Oh, I love it. It's a lot of fun. I liken it to, you jump out of the airplane and then realize, oh gosh, I don't have a parachute. But I'm to the point now where I realize there's no bottom, right? It's this experience where you and I were discussing earlier how we get to be at a point in our careers, our lives, where we're really doing what we love doing. Yeah, and so I'm there, which is great. Yeah.
That's terrific. So what's next?
Yeah, we're going to continue evolving the platform, looking to do some more tighter integrations with AWS, looking to provide a roll-up portfolio view so you can get an idea of where a larger segment of software companies are, how they're performing, and just continuing to build and get customers on board.
That's great. What's been the reception with AWS?
They love it. Anything that can help software companies adopt their services and benefit from their programs is a win-win.
Yeah, it's automating some of the things that they're trying to do.
Yeah, and it also provides, AWS has wonderful ecosystem of PDMs and PSRs. This extends that capacity to more people earlier, which I think is great, yeah.
That's fantastic. Jessica, it's been really, thank you for taking some time and sharing what's your journey with CrowdStrike and where you are with Skematic, and congrats on all the success.
Thank you, Chip. It's nice to talk to you today. Yeah.
Likewise. Thank you, Jessica, and thank you all for joining again, and we'll see you next time. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks, everybody.